MSG is the network of the Knicks, and we're live at the world's most famous arena in Midtown. And at Madison Square Garden tonight, the New York Knicks take on the Philadelphia 76ers. Keeping in mind they beat them in overtime with a buzzer beater earlier this season. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig. The New York Knicks will play game number 71 tonight. Tonight, they will also start their 40th different starting lineup, and they'll dress only 10 players. I mean, think about that. Quentin Richardson's still out with a bad thumb, and Stevie Francis is now out with a bad toe. All this, good news for Nate Robinson. Back into the starting lineup in the backcourt with Stephon Marbury. Had to love the news. There he is, teaching his young son Namir how to play to the camera. Looks like he's got a good handle on that. Mentioned the good memories of the overtime win. Well, Nate Robinson has those in the season of 19 wins. Here's a good game. Tie game at 102. Nate Robinson not afraid to let it go, and the Knicks celebrated like they hadn't up till that point, and certainly haven't had many moments like that this year. So Nate Robinson into the starting lineup for the New York Knicks, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers, who find themselves in a desperate situation. For more, let's go to Mike Breen and Kenny Smith.
Al, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. When a team's in a situation like the Knicks with 12 games to go, there are two ways that they can play it out. One is play with pride, trying to get some positives toward the end of the season, and maybe even play the role of a spoiler. The other, Kenny, might be just mailing it in. Well, if the last game against the Celtics is any indication, a game where the Knicks pretty much mailed it in, it's going to spell trouble down the stretch. But Larry Brown, the head coach, and all the players say that will not happen. They'll continue to fight and try and get some positives.
Hopefully you can finish strong. You know, our young players have gotten better, with the exception of Channing getting hurt. But our young players have gotten better, and we need to build on something for the summer, something to look forward to come back next year.
We're just finishing it with as best we can. You know, we're just some games we stumble, but we're going to keep trying to get better each game. You know, in hopes of having a better season next year.
Well, Kenny, if you look at the recent games, in each of the last 4 games, Knicks trailed by as many as 20. Not a good indication, but they continue to say they'll try and finish strong. My question is, can anything positive come out of these last 12 games after the way this season has gone?
Well, things positive can happen. I think one of the things you can do is you can find an identity for your team. You could say, you know what, are we an up-tempo team? Are we a fast-break team? Are we going to be a defensive-minded team? Because the style has to be established. One, so you can know what free agents to go after. Two, who's going to be here? Who are you going to keep? Who are you going to trade for? I think you have to establish the style in the game.
Well, Larry Brown has said that style of the last 12 games is going to be control the tempo, shorten the game type of style. Meanwhile, they'll try and do it against the Sixers team that's still alive for the playoffs. Right now, they're clinging to that 8th and final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. You see Philadelphia in the 8th spot. They're 2.5 back of Indiana. It's going to be tough to catch them. They're only game and a half out of the Chicago Bulls, and they still play the Bulls twice. And even Boston has a chance. Philly and Boston play one more time as well. So it's not going to be easy, but they certainly have one good guy on their side who has been once again superb as a 30-year-old. Hard to believe, but it's Allen Iverson.
Wow, only 30. That's amazing. I think one of the things that Allen has done, hurt, whatever, he gets to the rim. And off the dribble, he's the best in the business. He finishes, he gets into the lane. And I think that's what's made him not only a great scorer of our era, but maybe the greatest scorer under 6 foot in the history of basketball, because he continually can score off the dribble.
You look at the numbers, once again, top 10 in so many different categories, including minutes per game. He's banged up every year, but he's still right up there in minutes per game and still one of the all-time explosive scorers in NBA history. He has some help on the offensive end, and Chris Webber. And Webber very, very critical of his teammates the last couple of days. Earlier today, though, he said it's resulted in a positive that the team's going to try and be more intense. They've lost 10 of 12, and they need to get some wins if they hope to clinch that final spot in the East. Starting lineups and opening tip from the Garden when we return.